Emma Harrison stood in her tiny kitchen, staring at the nearly empty refrigerator. The harsh fluorescent light flickered, casting long shadows across the worn linoleum floor. Her daughter Lucy, just 7 years old, sat quietly at the small wooden table, carefully drawing with a handful of broken colored pencils. The silence was heavy. Emma's hands trembled slightly as she calculated the last of her money in her worn leather wallet. Rent was due in 2 days, and her part-time job at Miller's Diner barely covered the most basic expenses. Winter was coming, and the heating bills would soon crush what little hope she had left. Lucy looked up, her bright blue eyes meeting her mother's. "Are we having dinner tonight, Mommy?" she asked, her voice soft and uncertain. Emma forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "We'll be okay, sweetheart," she whispered, turning away so Lucy couldn't see the tears threatening to fall. The apartment was small, just 2 rooms and a tiny kitchen. Every surface told a story of struggle. Faded photographs of happier times hung crookedly on the wall. A single blanket was draped over the second-hand couch, a reminder of the comfort they once knew. 2 years ago, Emma had escaped a relationship that had nearly destroyed her. She left with nothing but Lucy and the clothes on their backs. Since then, she had been fighting to survive, fighting to give her daughter a better life, fighting against a world that seemed determined to keep them down. Her job at the diner paid minimum wage, and the tips were unpredictable. Some days were good, a few extra dollars that meant milk and bread. Other days, like today, the cupboards were nearly bare. Lucy continued drawing, her small hand moving carefully across the paper. She seemed to sense her mother's worry, staying quiet and trying to be good. Emma's heart broke a little. No child should have to be this careful, this quiet. A stack of unpaid bills sat on the counter: electricity, phone, rent. Each envelope was a reminder of how close they were to losing everything. Emma had been picking up extra shifts, but it never seemed to be enough. The old refrigerator hummed and sputtered, a constant background noise to their struggle. Inside, there was little more than half a carton of milk, some mustard, and a few slices of bread that were starting to go stale. Outside, the autumn wind picked up, rattling the old window frames. Emma shivered, pulling her thin sweater tighter around her shoulders. Winter was coming, and she didn't know how they would manage. But she had survived worse. When she left her abusive relationship, people told her she wouldn't make it. They said she was too young, too scared, too broken. But Emma was none of those things. She was strong. She was a fighter. Lucy finished her drawing and walked over to her mother, holding up the piece of paper. It was a picture of 2 stick figures, a tall one and a small one, holding hands. Their stick figure faces were smiling. "This is us, Mommy," Lucy said, her voice full of love and hope. Emma knelt down and hugged her daughter tight, fighting back tears. In that moment, she knew she would do anything, absolutely anything, to give Lucy a better life. The evening grew darker. The apartment felt cold and empty. But there was something else there too, a spark of hope, a determination that burned bright in Emma's heart. She didn't know how, but she would find a way. She always did. Lucy climbed onto her mother's lap, snuggling close. "I love you, Mommy," she whispered. "I love you too," Emma replied, kissing her daughter's forehead. Outside, the wind continued to blow. Inside, a mother and daughter held each other, facing an uncertain future with nothing but love and hope to guide them. The E&D the next morning arrived with a pale winter light filtering through the dusty apartment windows. Emma walked Lucy to her small neighborhood school, holding her daughter's hand tightly. The cold wind nipped at their faces, and Emma's thin jacket offered little protection against the morning chill. As they approached the school gates, Lucy turned and hugged her mother. "Have a good day, Mommy," she said, her backpack slightly too big for her small frame. Emma watched her daughter disappear into the school building, her heart both full of love and heavy with worry. On her way to the diner, Emma passed the community center. Something caught her eye, a bright yellow job posting in the window. Full-time administrative position, flexible hours, decent pay. Her heart began to race. This could be the opportunity she had been waiting for. With trembling hands, she copied down the contact information on a scrap of paper she found in her worn-out wallet. Her current job at Miller's Diner paid barely enough to keep them fed, let alone cover rent and utilities. This job could change everything. During her lunch break at the diner, Emma borrowed a pen from her manager and carefully filled out the job application. Her hands shook slightly, years of struggle making each word a small battle. She had never been good at paperwork, always worried about making mistakes. The other waitresses noticed her concentration. Martha, an older woman who had been kind to Emma since she started working there, approached her. "Everything okay, honey?" she asked, her voice gentle. Emma looked up, a mix of hope and fear in her eyes. "I'm applying for a better job," she said softly. "Something that might help me and Lucy have a more stable life." Martha squeezed her shoulder. "You're a fighter, Emma. You'll make it work." Those words echoed in Emma's mind as she finished the application. Each question felt like a test: her limited work experience, the gaps in her employment history, the challenges she had faced. But she was determined. After her shift, she stopped by the community center and handed in the application personally. The receptionist, a friendly-looking woman in her 50s, smiled and assured her they would review it soon. That night, Emma helped Lucy with her homework, preparing a simple dinner of rice and the last of their canned vegetables. They talked about Lucy's day at school, about her drawings, about her dreams. Emma listened carefully, promising herself that she would do everything to give her daughter a better future. Before bed, Lucy asked, "Do you think we'll be okay, Mommy?" Emma hugged her tight. "We'll always be okay," she whispered, trying to believe her own words. After tucking Lucy in, Emma sat by the window, looking out at the quiet street. The job application represented more than just a potential employment opportunity. It was a lifeline, a chance to break free from the constant cycle of financial struggle. She thought about her journey, leaving an abusive relationship, raising Lucy alone, working multiple jobs, always on the edge of survival. Each day had been a battle, each month a challenge. But she had never given up. The city outside seemed to hold both promise and uncertainty. Streetlights flickered, cars passed occasionally, and the distant sounds of urban life created a gentle background noise. Emma closed her eyes and allowed herself to dream. A better job could mean a safer home, better schools for Lucy, maybe even a chance to continue her own education. For the first time in years, hope felt tangible. As she prepared for bed, she checked her phone. No call yet, but she remained optimistic. Tomorrow could be the day everything changed. Lucy's soft breathing from the other room reminded her of what truly mattered. Love. Hope. Determination. Whatever happened, they would face it together. The morning of the interview arrived with a nervous energy that filled Emma's small apartment. She had borrowed a simple black blazer from Martha, her colleague at the diner, and pressed it carefully the night before. Lucy helped her choose a pair of modest earrings, her small fingers carefully attaching them to Emma's ears. "You'll be amazing, Mommy," Lucy said, her confidence infectious. Emma dropped Lucy at school, her heart racing. The community center where the interview was being held seemed to loom larger than usual. She arrived 30 minutes early, her hands sweating, the job application clutched tightly in her trembling fingers. Mr. Thompson sat behind a simple wooden desk. He was a man in his late 50s, with kind eyes and silver-streaked hair. His office was modest, diplomas on the wall, a few family photographs, stacks of folders neatly organized. "Miss Harrison," he began, looking at her application, "tell me about yourself." Emma took a deep breath. Years of struggle had taught her to be honest, to be direct. She spoke about raising Lucy alone, about her determination to create a better life. She didn't hide her challenges, her limited work experience, her journey from a difficult past. "I'm a hard worker," she said, her voice steady despite her nerves. "I'll do whatever it takes to support my daughter and prove myself." Mr. Thompson listened carefully. He saw more than just the words, he saw a woman's unbreakable spirit. Her application showed gaps, but her eyes told a different story. A story of survival, of resilience. He asked about her experience at the diner. Emma explained how she managed multiple tasks, how she dealt with difficult customers, how she always stayed calm under pressure. Each word was carefully chosen, each sentence a testament to her strength. "Multitasking is my specialty," she explained. "When you're a single mother, you learn to do 10 things at once." Mr. Thompson made notes, his pen moving smoothly across the paper. Emma tried to read his expression, but he remained neutral. Was this good or bad? Her heart pounded so loudly she was sure he could hear it. They discussed her availability, her willingness to learn, her basic computer skills. Emma had taken free computer classes at the community center, spending evenings studying while Lucy did homework nearby. She wasn't an expert, but she was eager to improve. "I'm a quick learner," she said. "Give me a chance, and I'll prove my worth." The interview lasted 45 minutes. Longer than Emma had expected. When Mr. Thompson finally looked up, he had a slight smile on his face. "We'll be in touch soon," he said, shaking her hand. Emma walked out of the community center feeling both exhausted and hopeful. The city seemed brighter somehow, the winter sun casting a warm glow. She picked up Lucy from school, trying not to get her hopes up. "How was the interview, Mommy?" Lucy asked, holding her mother's hand. "I did my best, sweetheart," Emma replied, squeezing her daughter's hand. That night, they shared a simple meal. Lucy drew pictures while Emma reviewed her notes from the interview, replaying every moment in her mind. She had been honest. She had been herself. Now, all she could do was wait. The end a week after the interview, Emma's phone rang while she was working her shift at the diner. Her hands were wet from washing dishes, and she nearly dropped the phone when she saw the community center's number. "Miss Harrison," Mr. Thompson's voice was warm, "we'd like to offer you the job." Emma's world stopped. She looked around the diner, the steam, the clatter of dishes, her co-workers moving quickly. Everything seemed surreal. A full-time job. Stable income. Hope. But Mr. Thompson wasn't finished. He connected her with Sarah Reynolds, a coordinator from a local support program for single mothers. This wasn't just a job offer, it was a lifeline. The support program offered multiple resources Emma had never imagined possible. Rental assistance would help her stabilize their living situation. Childcare support meant Lucy could attend a better after-school program. Job training would help Emma develop new skills. Her first paycheck would be more money than she'd earned in months. No more counting pennies. No more wondering if they could afford milk or bread. Lucy could have new shoes. They might even save a little. When Emma told Lucy about the job, her daughter jumped with excitement. "We did it, Mommy," she screamed, hugging her mother tightly. The first month was transformative. Emma's new job at the community center allowed her flexible hours. She worked primarily as an administrative assistant, organizing files, scheduling appointments, and supporting local community programs. Mr. Thompson became more than just a boss. He saw potential in Emma and became a mentor. He understood her journey and wanted to help her succeed. During lunch breaks, he would offer advice about career development, showing her how to use computer programs and improve her skills. Sarah from the support program continued to check in. She helped Emma create a budget, understand her financial options, and plan for the future. For the first time, Emma felt she wasn't just surviving, she was building a life. Lucy's after-school program was a game-changer. She made new friends, received homework help, and had access to art and music classes. Her drawings became more intricate, her confidence growing. The tiny apartments slowly transformed. They replaced the worn-out couch. Emma bought curtains that actually matched. Small improvements, but they meant everything. Winter turned to spring. Emma's confidence grew with each passing week. She started taking online classes during her free time, dreaming of eventually pursuing a degree in business administration. One evening, as Lucy did her homework and Emma prepared dinner, she realized something profound. They weren't just surviving anymore. They were thriving. The journey hadn't been easy. Years of struggle, fear, and uncertainty had tested her resolve. But Emma had never given up. She had fought for every single opportunity, for every moment of stability. Mr. Thompson called her into his office one afternoon. "You're doing excellent work, Emma," he said. "We see real potential in you." Those words meant more than just professional recognition. They represented validation of her entire struggle. Lucy was changing too. More confident, more curious about the world. She talked about becoming a doctor, an artist, maybe even the president. Emma listened, her heart full of love and hope. The support program continued to provide resources: financial counseling, health workshops, networking opportunities. Emma absorbed everything, determined to create a better future. At night, lying next to Lucy, Emma would reflect on their journey. From barely affording groceries to having a stable job and support system, they had come so far. Her daughter's steady breathing was a reminder of why she had fought so hard. Every challenge, every difficult moment had been worth it. They were more than survivors. They were fighters. They were a team. And their story was just beginning. The end 1 year had passed since Emma's life-changing interview. The small apartment that once felt like a prison now seemed warm and full of possibilities. Sunlight streamed through clean windows, highlighting Lucy's artwork that now covered an entire wall. Colorful drawings that told a story of hope and transformation. Emma stood in the kitchen, preparing breakfast. Her work uniform was pressed, her confidence evident in every movement. The refrigerator was full not just with necessities, but with fresh fruits, vegetables, and Lucy's favorite treats. No more empty shelves. No more constant worry about the next meal. Lucy sat at the table, her school backpack beside her, finishing her breakfast. She looked different, more confident, more relaxed. The constant tension that once marked her young face had been replaced by genuine smiles and laughter. "Mommy, look at my science project," Lucy said, pulling out a colorful poster about local wildlife. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. The after-school program had opened up a world of opportunities, nurturing her curiosity and creativity. Emma's job at the community center had become more than just work. She was now a junior coordinator, helping other single parents navigate their challenges. Mr. Thompson had become a mentor, seeing potential in her that she had never recognized in herself. The support program continued to be a lifeline. Emma had completed several online courses, her dream of a business degree slowly taking shape. Each class was a victory, a testament to her determination. Financial stability had changed everything. They could now afford Lucy's art supplies, good nutritious food, and occasional small treats. The constant fear of eviction had disappeared. Their home was no longer just a temporary shelter but a real sanctuary. Lucy's school performance had improved dramatically. Her teachers spoke about her creativity, her intelligence, her potential. Emma listened to these conversations with tears in her eyes, a far cry from the scared, struggling mother she had been just a year ago. Weekend mornings were now filled with adventures. Sometimes they would visit the local park, other times they would have movie nights or bake cookies together. These simple moments were precious, a luxury Emma could never have imagined before. The scars of her past remained, but they no longer defined her. Emma had transformed her pain into purpose. She volunteered at the community center, sharing her story with other struggling parents, offering hope and practical support. "We did it, Mommy," Lucy would often say, hugging her tight. Those words carried the weight of their entire journey, from survival to thriving. Emma's colleagues at the community center had become more than just co-workers. They were a support network, a family of sorts. Mr. Thompson continued to mentor her, seeing her potential grow with each passing month. The borrowed blazer from Martha had been replaced with professional work clothes. Emma's wardrobe reflected her newfound confidence, neat, practical, but with touches of personal style. As evening approached, Emma helped Lucy with her homework. They talked about her day, her friends, her dreams. The conversations were no longer hushed and worried, but open and full of joy. Looking back, Emma could hardly recognize the woman she had been a year ago, constantly afraid, always struggling. Now, she stood tall. She was a provider, a protector, a dreamer. Their story wasn't just about survival. It was about transformation. About breaking cycles. About hope. The apartment, once a symbol of their struggle, was now a home. Photographs of Lucy's school achievements lined the walls. Drawings, certificates, memories of their journey. As Lucy prepared for bed, Emma tucked her in, just like always. But everything was different. The fear was gone. Replaced with love. With possibility. "I love you, Mommy," Lucy whispered. "I love you too, sweetheart," Emma replied, kissing her forehead. Outside, the city lights twinkled. Inside, a mother and daughter slept peacefully, their dreams no longer limited by fear, but expanded by hope. They had made it. Together. The end.